Hi y'all, it is a beautiful day in the Ozarks and I am sitting on the top of my little hill that I love so much, and I wanted to make a video about the class I mentioned in my first video. I've had, in the process of me taking the class, I've had a few friends ask me some questions about it, local friends. I've had some out-of-state friends ask me some questions, so I'm just gonna maybe answer what I can and give maybe just a little bit more insight of what it is. Also, just to kind of let you know, I have a Great Pyrenees who wanders my property, and he just keeps an eye on everything for me. So he may periodically roam through. If he does, just wave and say, "Hi, bear." So Krav Maga is the class, and it translates from Hebrew. It's contact combat, and it was developed by the Israeli Defense Force, a man in the Israeli Defense Force, and the IDF. And it is a military-based, hand-to-hand combat, self-defense, and it is real-life fighting, and it is super scrappy, and I love it. And the reason why I love it so much is because when my late husband, when he had passed, I was dealing with a lot of anger. So people talk about the stages of grief, right? And they're like, well, you have this, and this. Well, all my players were on stage at the same time. So I was dealing with all of it at the same time, and it was just overwhelming sometimes. And so, but anger was a really big part. So angry, and it was directed at the hospital, it was directed at the doctors, the surgeons, the nurses, the food service people. I mean, I had a lot of anger, and keeping that all bottled up, I knew at one point, I'm like, this is not healthy. It's going to affect me physically if I just keep it in. And so the Krav Maga is something that I have always wanted to try, but I never had I don't want to say the drive, because I've always had the drive, but I don't know, maybe my limitations were here, right? So that's where my limitations were. I lacked the self-confidence to think, oh my God, I can do that. I can't do that. And so, but I knew I needed a healthy way to deal with the anger and have a healthy outlet to deal with the anger that I was dealing with. That was just physically, I was getting exhausted from it. And so I went to the first class, and the instructors there, they actually, I live in there's a car coming, so forgive me if you hear the car on the county road. And so, they go up and down. Sorry, y'all, country. So my instructors were trained they went to Israel, and they were trained by the IDF, but they're very patient with you. So I informed my instructor of my situation. I told him what had happened, and he said he understood, and he said, take it out on the bag, right? So I took it out on the bag, but one of the classes they started me off with, so I got to try it for free for the first time. First class was free. And what they do is they train you for real life fighting. So you want to be able, if you're being attacked, you need to get out and get away. That's what this is teaching me. You will have to hurt them, and possibly, yes, so it goes a little further than that sometimes, than just hurting them. So the first class, it was actually the second class, but the first class, he was just teaching me how to punch, and how to punch correctly, how to kick correctly. And for me, and a lot of people, they teach you how to do it with open, because if you make a fist wrong, or if you punch and you break these fingers and you carry, unless you know how to draw your weapon with both hands, you're going to be, trying to, I can't get my gun, or whatever it is. So, so the second night, it was, they were teaching you how to, so it was how your feet move when you're being dragged backwards. So they had us stand in the middle of class, stand in class and start leaning back. See, here he is. Everybody say hi, Bear. So they had us sit, they had us start leaning backwards, and then as soon as you start going back, your feet are automatically you're gonna catch yourself, and you see how you turn, and as you turn, your feet catch. So he wanted us to feel that, to see how our, that way we knew how our bodies moved and how our feet moved. And the reason for that is they had us go to our bags, right, our sparring bags, and they had us punch. So I was hitting the bags, and then they will come up behind you and they will grab you. They don't put you in a real choke hold, of course, but they simulate it and they grab you, and they will literally start dragging you back to where you see how your feet are fumbling, and then you can just turn into it and attack and get away. That's one of the things that they've taught. Let's see, another one is where they teach you if you're being attacked from the front, from the back, from the side. One night it was you're being attacked they show you how to get out of them. Well, then they have you stand there and close your eyes, so you have no idea where the attack is coming from or when it's coming. The first time they did that to me, I got really anxious, and I got really, oh my God, this is, and I felt really nervous because I was like, I knew it was coming, but I just didn't know when. And so when it did come, I just, and it took me like almost half a second to start reacting to them. And so they do that periodically. And so, but what that's taught me is, no, man, nope. Oh, so now he's pawing at me. So what that has taught me, because I have noticed that I'm getting better at that. So what it has taught me is to remain calm, to breathe through it as I have my eyes closed, and to remain level-headed. Because I noticed you freeze, right? So if I don't remain calm or level-headed during that waiting period, when it does come, you're gonna freeze and be like, what am I supposed to do? So then that's what it's taught me. It's taught me to remain calm, level-headed, and just breathe through it. Because I've translated that over into not just the physical part of my life, but also into the emotional and relational, or whatever it is, friends, whatever, part of my life. So I have learned to, or high stress, high anxiety, situations, I have learned to breathe, remain calm, try to keep a level head. Am I perfect? No. There are days when I still freak out. I went to class one night and I cried the whole time. I can't say the whole time, because my classes are usually anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours. But I cried for probably the first maybe 30 minutes. And they just let me do it, and they asked if I was okay. I stepped outside for a minute, came back in, kept crying, and I kept punching, and I kept kicking, and I just kept fighting through it. But the more I went, and the more I was being attacked with eyes closed, it has taught me to try to keep a level head, try to remain calm. That way we react efficiently and effectively, and we don't hurt ourselves in the process, whether that's physically or emotionally. Because we can, I'm not going to say we, because I don't know how you guys are, but I know sometimes, one thing I've had to, is we tend to react just out of fear, or out of anger, or out of stress, or out of grief, whatever it is. We will react so quickly, and it's human nature. That's natural. That's so totally normal. But with this class, and with them doing that, it has boosted my confidence to know that I can take care of myself, and I can keep a level head in high stress situations, and I can react efficiently and effectively. So that is one of the things that I take away from this class, right? The other thing that they do that I have just really recently started taking is jujitsu with them. So that is combative jujitsu, whatever you want to call it. It's you're down on the ground and you're tangled and you're learning how to flip people off of you. You're learning how to get people in holds and just basically get them off of you and get away. So I started doing that, and the very first night they taught me a move in the jiu-jitsu class. One of the instructors, he's one of the main instructors who instructs the other instructors, you know, he came over and he saw me do it like 2 or 3 times with my partner, and he kept praising me. He's like, that's amazing, good job. Your first try? Yes. Oh my God, you're doing it? That's great. So that boosted my confidence, and my partner was like, he doesn't say that to everybody, so you're doing something right your first time, and you're impressing him. So that boosted my confidence to know that I can do this. I can push through this. Was every class perfect? No. Was every move perfect? No. Did I get pinned down and could I not get out of a move? Yes. And does that happen in real life? Yes, it does. Outside of the classroom, it does. You know, and so I've come away from class. I have bruises on me now. You know, I'll come away from class bruised. I've come away from class with an injury. The injury that I had was, it's gotten a lot better, but I still notice there's some tenderness. So it was, they've taught us how to disarm people. So whether it's pew-pews or other things, and so but tonight, that one night, they added another element to it. So now you're locked in with that person, and you have that, and you know, you're not letting them go. You're not letting it go. And this night we were pushing each other back and forth across the class. This night, they pushed me back because I was locked in. I had my elbows locked and I was being pushed, and we got to going too fast. My partner, he just kept going because he was, you know, because you're shoulder to shoulder, and I came down. Our legs got tangled. I came down on my tailbone. I hit it hard. He came down on me. He didn't land completely on me, but the force of him coming down, us being going down like that, he had some force on me, push, but he flipped off of me. I landed on my tailbone and I hurt it. It was bad. I laid there for probably like 3 to 5 minutes, something like that. But I got up, but I could not finish the lower body portion of the class. I tried. I couldn't do it. I went home and I was just so frustrated with myself, but I'm like, I'm not gonna let this stop me, right? So I tried to go back, because I go 3 times a week because I work during the day, so I go in the evenings. And so I tried to go back because that happened on one of my last nights. So I tried to go back the next week and I could not do it. I couldn't even do a simple kick. I couldn't. So I was like, I can't do this. So I went home, I came back, I tried to do it again. One of my other instructors, he came over, he said, well, let's just practice your blocks. And so what they'll do is they bring the sticks out and they just start hitting, swinging at you, and you have to block, So he did that with me, and so I was able to do upper body work, but I wasn't able to do my lower body work. And so it hurt so bad. And so I wasn't able to go back to class for a while, and that really got me to where I've got to go. I've got to get back to class. So, but I had to give myself time to heal during that waiting time, and I had to give my body time to heal. And sometimes that's what we have to do with things that happen, and or I'll say me, that's what I had to do with what happened in my life. I had to give my time, and I'm still healing from it. Like the tailbone, it's not as bad as it was, but it's getting better. And it's not as tender as it was, but it's getting better. The grief never fully goes away. There will always be something that will touch that certain part, and you'll feel that, like I did in class the other night. I was feeling good, and I was doing another move with a partner, and I came down on my knees, and it jarred the tailbone, and I felt it again. I was like, so it's always, it just takes time for that to heal, and it's taking time for me to heal, but it's not as tender as it was, you know. So that's part of the class. You know, I come away with bruises, I come away with injuries, but I'm also taking away learning, you know, I'm also taking away from the class that I've built up my confidence, you know, confidence that I can take care of myself physically, but also confidence that I can learn how to, and I'm learning how to react in high stress situations. I can remain calm and level-headed and try to respond, you know, appropriately. So that is that. And so I still went back to class, you know, a week or so later. It, you know, like I said, it's still a little tender, but it's perfectly fine. And I was able to get back into the lower body, the jiu-jitsu part again. And so we combined Krav Maga with jiu-jitsu, and I love it, y'all. It has done wonders for me, mentally and physically. And I am finding that I can do things I never thought I could do. You know, you have these heavy weights that are pushing down on you, and I'm able to fight through it and flip them off. And so I'm like, I can do that. I can do this. You know, I can handle this situation. You know, it's heavy and it's hard, but I can get through it and I can handle it, and I'm gonna flip it. And that's what I'm doing. So my late husband had something he used to say, and it carried me through the first, like, for the first few months, and I still carry it with me, right? So he would say, throat punch whatever you have to keep moving forward, because giving up is not for you. So I was doing that. I was throat punching everything. Now, I wasn't literally like throat punching people. You know, it was, you know, I can't feel that today. I can't deal with that today. I'm not gonna even face it. I'm not even gonna entertain it. I'm gonna do it. But then I had someone tell me, it's okay to embrace them sometimes. It's okay to let it flood you and just overwhelm you. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. You know, I can't do that. But I did it. And it is okay, y'all, to embrace those sometimes and to just let it come. Now, there's sometimes when I throat punch them, and there's sometimes when I embrace them. Because there's sometimes it may be a thought that I'm like, I'm not even going to entertain that thought. I'm not going to entertain that emotion because it may be irrational, you know, because I still have those days, you know, I'm still learning and I'm still healing. So there are days when I throat punch those that I'm like, that's not going to help me at all. All that's going to do is just bring negativity into my life. It's not helpful. It's not edifying. It's not doing me any good. So I throat punch those. And then there are days when I feel the weight of everything. And it's totally normal to feel that with the grief, because sometimes, like I said earlier, so the other day I was at work, and out of the blue a song came on, and it was a song that he had sent me years ago, and I lost it. I just was like, you know, because I was perfectly fine. Then all of a sudden, you know, this song comes on and I just lose it. Like I said, that's perfectly normal. It's perfectly okay. That was okay for me to feel. That was okay for me to embrace that moment. Because it wasn't just, yes, I was crying because it reminded me of him and of a time that he sent it to me, but it was a happy time. So I was okay with feeling that, and I was okay with letting that emotion, because it's a healing time. And so that day I didn't throat punch it. I just felt it, and I stood right there in the middle and just cried. My coworkers were like, but they know. They're like, do you need to go take a minute? I'm like, felt it, wiped it away, kept going, you know. And that's what we have to do. We have to keep going. So some days we throat punch it, and some days we embrace it, and it's totally okay. So I've talked quite a long time, but there's a saying, and it's on one of my stickers for my car that I love, and it says, it's okay to fall and lose your spark. Just make sure when you get back up, you rise as the whole damn fire. And that is what I'm doing. It's okay to fall. So it's not just saying once. We're not just going to fall. We're not just going to be like, okay, I'm not going to do that again. No, it's okay to fall. But it's just it's a getting back up part. So yeah, so that was, hopefully that answers some of those questions. And I'm going to leave you with, this week I was able to pick up a few more pieces of equipment from my trip. And hopefully this week I will have that video out for you guys, because I think I'm supposed to be getting a roof rack, for my vehicle hopefully tomorrow or the next day. And so I can carry my gas cans, water cans, all that, other things that I may not have room for in the car on the top. And I'm super excited about that, but I'm letting you guys know that is being donated to me. I could not have afforded that roof rack. Someone reached out to me, and they said they believe in what I'm doing, and they wanted to help me along, and so they donated this roof rack to me, and I'm very thankful for these people. So yeah, so just remember, it's okay to fall, and it's okay to lose your spark, but when you get back up, you need to rise as the whole damn fire, y'all. This is Bear saying bye. Bye, y'all.